like it or love it, they'll send you a message saying somebody has favorited a property. They'll show it when they viewed it. I take that back. They'll send you an email when they view it, a text. I had it set a text when they viewed it. And then if they favorite something or they do the light bulb and they like it, like considering it, you'll be notified of that.
Awesome. And then Casey wanted to know, when it notified me that she had set herself up as a client, when it notified me that I had not activated auto emails, it came straight to her email. Boom, as soon as she set up. So we're back. I'm back recording, and we're at 10:32. Everybody's still in the classroom. Where are you going to take us next, Megan?
We are venturing off to CMAs and emailing and printing our results page. So we're going to jump right in. Hopefully y'all have a feeling a lot of you are like drinking coffee and chilling at home. So it's probably not so bad to sit and listen to me, but hopefully can keep your attention a little bit longer. If you need to like stand up, shake a little bit, you can even blare your music for a little bit because I can't hear it. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in and do, we'll do two things. We're going to do a quick search, and then I'm going to show you how to email and print and some options with that. And then we're going to jump into CMAs, and I would like a disclaimer that I am not going to teach you how to do CMAs. We all do them a little differently, but I will show you how to use the system for CMAs, if that makes sense, and that will probably make sense a little bit later. But all right, so we're going to do a quick search. So if you go into, remember, your residential option, that's what we're working in, but you can choose any of those. For anybody, I notice now we have a lot more people than we do in the beginning. So please don't be afraid to ask questions if we're going through something that you missed from earlier, because it's either a question somebody else still already has or may have already forgotten or don't remember. So, you know, please, at any point, it's a learning session for y'all. So we're going to go to residential. And we're just going to do a quick, I'm just going to put in whatever, and I'm going to put in Acorn Ridge because, like I said, there's always inventory there. No specific reason why it's not populating for me now. Maybe it doesn't want me to use that. Okay, let me just do something real quick.
You didn't get timed out, did you?
That's why, yeah, let's try again. All right, so pick your criteria.
Somebody said you were in the county, not in the subdivision.
Oh, but I just reset that. I don't know why it's not populating for me. All right, let's try. Oh, yeah, hey, thanks. Good looking out, friend, whoever that was.
All right, that's Casey again. I think Casey,
girl, I love you. Thanks. All right, okay. So you want to be in the subdivision when you're searching for a subdivision, not in the county.
What a concept. So
results. All right, so if I want to print these for my client or for myself, I'm going to click on a few of these. And then down here, you'll see that it kind of populates options here. So I'm going to hit print. So we have agent full, that is the agent's copy. So if you want to take a cut sheet with you to reference any remarks to or anything else, it's right there. If you want your clients, you can do client full, which is right here. There is a really great option. So down here, you'll see this 1004 MC market conditions detail. Scott Arden is actually the one who taught me how to use this one. So we all learn from each other. If I want to get information on a neighborhood, like the pulse of the neighborhood, so I did Acorn Ridge active closed pending for the last 6 months, I would click on this market conditions detail, and it's going to generate kind of an overview of production in that neighborhood. So it's showing me the prior, I'm pointing to the screen, you can't see that, prior 7 to 12 months, 4 to 6 months, and current to 3 months. So there's 2 active listings. There's the absorption rate's not showing anything. The average list price is 151. The median days on market is 86. So it's a really great data sheet. The benefit of this, I feel like, is your listing appointments. You can take kind of like a pulse of the neighborhood with this report. So it is a nice feature to use. You can print to PDF. If you see the options down here, you can print to PDF. You can email it, or you can just regular print. So you can do that. Now you can see that from the way that I've saved some searches, I can print them in that way. You can also do different versions. There's flyers and whatnot here, but that is your print screen there. So if I go back to results, I also have the option to email it. So I can email it directly to the client, or if I have somebody saved in my shopping cart, I can send it directly to them in my shopping cart. So it will go to their shopping cart, or I don't want to say cart because it's going to confuse everybody. It's going to send them to their portal. Okay. So I can send it there, or if I just want to send it to myself or a friend, you can put in their email address there. And you can add another recipient, copy them, there's your subject and so forth. So you can do that there. Now, what I was talking about, like, I don't want to confuse people, especially if you're a senior agent that's been around when we had the other matrix or the other MLS. Here, if you see on the bottom, there's a carts option. Carts is for the agent, not the client. So if you can remember that and make a note, cart is for agent, not client. So what does that mean? When you set up an auto email, you're going to set up, it automatically sets up a cart for that client. So let's say I'm searching for Joe, right? And I'm in Acorn Ridge and I see these houses and I'm like, oh, these would be great for Betty, but I don't want to change what I'm doing or anything like that. I can click those off, go to carts, and I can add it to, I only have one cart. I can add it to that cart. So then I can go back and look at my cart for Betty and then decide if I want to email it to her or not. So the way, and honestly, I YouTubed this and I went to links for help and watched a video on it. Carts is kind of like our scatterbrain when we're doing searches. The carts help us organize for clients, and then we work from the cart if we need to send it out to the client. So like I just said, if you're working with one client and then you're like, oh my gosh, that's great for my other client, you can just move it to their cart and get to it later and then send it to them, versus having to come in and out and resend and redo a search and all that stuff. So carts are for you. They don't go to the client. So if you set up a cart and you think it's going to your client and you wonder why they're not getting it, that's why. They need the new auto email, okay? Because they're going to get a portal access. And we're going to talk about that once, we're going to have the portal access once we get to the tabs part at the top, okay? So always remember down here, you've got these new, actions, refine, so I can come in and I can delete some of these. Maybe it's messing up my screen and I don't like how it looks. I'm gonna delete it. And then you can save it. And you can also, that's your new auto email, your search, or your speed bar shortcut, and then your carts. I will point out too, I think I forgot earlier, right here, these little pamphlets, that's where your disclosures are held. If you don't see it on this home screen, then that agent, nope, I'm not pointing anybody out, this is your listing, they have not put it on the MLS. So you would want to call them and request those. This is your history of that listing, so you can click on it and see the history of the listing. This is the map location, and these are the photos. But here, a lot of new agents say, well, how do I know there's a disclosure? This is where you will see those disclosures. Okay, cool. All right, tracking. So now we're going to talk about CMAs. So first, I'd like to point out the 3-up CMA at the bottom. So these are, I'm just marking off, okay, I'm just saying that I know everybody does things differently. I'm going to keep saying that. So you might use active, closed, pending. You might use just closed. The number one thing we'll talk about later is your absorption rate and your market trends, and we'll talk about that and how to pull that information from here. But if you're doing the traditional CMA process, this is what we're talking about. So if you look down here at the bottom, it says 3-up. Okay. When I click on that, and I've marked all these things off, now I could go back and just do closed if, so, but what it's saying is 3-up, 3 next to each other, if that helps you remember it. 0 adjustments, okay? 0 anything. All this is basically saying is here's the properties, here's the status, here's their price, here's some description about them, okay? But you can see there are no adjustments being made. What is the point of the 3 up? I mean, maybe it's informational. You know, you could show your client, this is some information about all these properties that we're going to be discussing. Okay, so it's an informational sheet. Then you have your quick CMA. So again, right down here at the bottom, quick CMA, click on it. It's exactly what it is. It's a quick CMA with, again, no adjustments. Okay, this is not how I would price a house. Personal opinion. Talk to your brokers in charge about how you should do pricing, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I'll keep giving my disclosure. But if you look on here, this is simply showing you, now I marked active, closed, pending. So it says active under contract properties, pending properties, active properties, and then it's telling you the list and sold and information about them. There are no adjustments, okay? So you can see square footage, list, days on market, again, very informative, all in one place. So you can mark, you know, you can provide those to your seller and explain to them this is not pricing, it's giving you an overview or a pulse or however you want to describe it. Now, I'm going to write down an MLS number. All right. So when we're doing the CMA, you may want to just do closed properties. Okay. So I'm actually, I'm going to go back. Yeah, I'm doing contingency instead of sold. Y'all aren't even catching my mistakes. Come on now. So active, contingency, pending. I was thinking closed because it's C. So S is sold, P is pending, C is contingency. See, I could just keep teaching by my own mistakes. So, all right. So we're going to pick the ones that we're going to do the price adjustments on. So you want to find homes most like yours, most similar to yours, all that good stuff. I am not going into detail on that. I'm using this simply for instruction and example only, if that makes sense. I'm just picking some comps. So are these the best ones to use? No. Should you use foreclosures in your CMAs? No. Should you use new construction if you're existing? No. But again, I said I wouldn't go into a big CMA class, but I just want to show you how to use the program. So with that being said, I just randomly picked some comparables, but remember I added that closed square footage column. So it was easy for me to go through and look at that closed square footage. There's your bedrooms, bathrooms, square foot. I always go in and review the photos. You know, you want most like yours. Okay. But all right. So this, remember, I'm just picking these for example only. So I'm going to click on all those. Cool. And I am going to go to the actual CMA, which is down here, CMA. So I'm going to click on CMA. You want to create a contact if you haven't, or you can use an existing one. You can put a comment board here if you want, so give them some information. Now you see these tabs right here. So this is everything that you can adjust and do. So I'm going to click on pages. Now, let me clear this for demonstration purposes. So now you can see when you came over to here, all these are dark. Right? They're not glowing, all pretty, they're dark. That's because I have not added anything right here to this select pages section, okay? Now, over here on the left, on the bottom, you have manage custom pages. Cool feature, because you can add maybe your testimonial page. You could upload your company graphics, like if you're standing in the market. You could upload maybe your sales statistics. So you can upload your own documents here if you want to customize your CMA. It's a very cool feature. And you can add maybe some extra information from the MLS, whatever, cool, right? Now, this will show up here as my custom pages. So if you've not created any custom pages, it won't be here. So don't think you're missing anything. If you've never done a CMA, again, do one for yourself. Practice on yourself. So you can click on here and it's going to add every single thing in that subject. Okay. If you click the plus sign, you're going to see what's under there and see if you want to add it. My recommendation is you click on everything if you've never done it. Is it a crazy amount of information? Oh my word, yes. But you've never looked at it before. So if you've not, so you want to know what's available, number one, to you. So you know for each appointment, what is going to be a benefit to add or take away. Now, once you've done this and you've gone through all, see how as we added pages, this highlighted, it's because it's a form that applied to one of these categories. Okay. So if I removed these cover sheets, you click on it and then hit the X button. My screen is ginormous, but click on that, and remove it. You see the cover went dark, right? Which means I don't have one. So I want to add one. All right, now they're at the bottom, but you can move them also. So you can see these arrow over here. If I want to move these to the top, just do the arrow buttons. You can only do one at a time. And you can do the arrow button and you can move him all the way to the top. Okay, I don't know why he's not, there we go. I can move him all the way to the top. So now my cover sheet is back to the top. So you can move all these things around based on how you want your presentation to look. So we're gonna go to our next tab, subject. So this is our fun part. This is our subject property. So we have multiple options of how we're gonna get the information from our subject property to here. So the first one says type in subject property fields manually. One guess what that means? Means that we're going to put in all the information ourselves. Okay, so we're going to go in and put all the data ourselves. Option 2 is enter a property listing ID to autofill form. So, when you've been researching that property, there might be an old MLS number from when it closed before. You could use that. Okay. Or maybe when you look on Realist, when you're doing your research, you see an old listing for a rental ID, MLS ID. You can use that. So any old MLS number you can use, type it in here and hit fill, which we are going to do. The last option is search for a property. So I could click on this button and search for a property and see if it's in the MLS and it can pull the data for me. Okay, so you have those three options. I'm going to use an old MLS number and type it in, and then I'm going to hit fill. What it's going to do is take me to this property. Again, I didn't select any certain property and there's no rhyme or reason and all that good stuff. So it's pulled all the data from that old MLS listing. Can I edit this? Yes, I can. So I can go through and change it. Maybe they were wrong. It has 4 full bathrooms, okay? And maybe it has 1 half bath. So I can edit and change this. I can change the photo. The key point to ensure you're not missing when you're doing your CMA is the closed square footage right here. So you say, I haven't measured it yet. You probably have not measured it yet before your appointment. So you would use either the closed MLS square footage or the Realist square footage, but you have to measure your listing, okay? Have to. It doesn't take the place. Right now to prepare for that listing, that's what you can use, but you have to measure your listing. It's very beneficial. We all don't like doing it, but it is one of those necessary evils. Okay, so go through, make sure all this information's correct. Down here, custom fields. Okay, so what does that mean? You have 2 options. You can come in and pick a field that Matrix has already created for you. So it might be something that's like in here already, and that way if it's been populated with the other ones, it will automatically, populate. So if I went, I'm really trying to pick something, but you can pick an item from here if you want to. I've honestly just come up with a different way to do it that makes it easier for me, but you can add that. If not, I can do a label. So maybe my house has a pool. So I'm going to say pool. Okay. And I'm going to hit okay. So now, well, of course I did the letters wrong, and then I'm going to reiterate that with another pool. So it says pool and pool. Cool. Maybe I could put exterior, and then I have pool as what it is, okay? So I can custom do those fields. So a lot of people will say, well, where can I put that he has an outbuilding or that he has a shed or blah, 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 blah. That's where you can add that field for your custom CMA. You can upload a new photo, all that good stuff. So are we good so far on how we got here in entering our subject information?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. The first one comes from Riley. Can you take me out one day and show me how to measure? So I'm ready
Hey,
for
Riley, you're asking way too much of me, buddy.
it. But that gives
Riley, see me at work. Riley, see me at work. Next question.
it gives me a great idea. We can hold a how to measure a building class right here at the board office any day. We do it outdoors, take 15 minutes, and that's all we do. So,
Yeah,
Riley,
that'd
you
be
gave
good.
me a great. Uh,
Riley's just trying to win a prize.
I think that may be. You know it better than I do. Somebody was taking a note for us to maybe do a class for measuring. Yeah, we're getting everybody's wanting to do a class for measuring. It's simple, but it does help when somebody walks you through the process. So we're generating new classes, how to measure. All right. Any other questions while she's on the on this?
Okay, moving on. I just would love to say that I just saw that there's 50 people on right now. So I am super proud of each of one of you that are on here trying to learn something today. I think that's amazing because there's never 51 in the classroom. All right, so we got our subject property. We've entered in all of our information. Now, remember on the previous screen where it said enter manually? This is the same exact screen you're going to get when you enter manually. It just doesn't have the data in there for you. So the screens are no different. One's just done for you and one's not. So you would just have to come in and manually put everything. I am going to delete something though, just to show you demonstration later. All right. So then we're going to go to our cover. So here's our cover sheet. Is our cover accurate? So here's our photo, here's our contact information, here's agent information. Is all that stuff correct? You can edit that if not. Here's your comparable. So this is just verifying our comparables. We can also click add from listings right down here. When we add from listings, that means that we go out and do a search in that MLS and maybe pull some more listings that maybe somebody said, hey, you know, this house was available, blah, 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 pull from there. You also have that cart. So remember, a cart is for agent, not for client. So you might have created a cart earlier for this client that you were putting closed homes in. You just didn't have time to go and actually start working on it. So you can go and pull from that cart. Okay, so you have those options as well. If everything else looks great, cool. So map is, it's the map, it's the map, it's the map. It's just the map. So it's going to show where comps are. And the reason why it's highlighted, now remember, is that all the way back here, we added all those map pages up here. Okay, so you can jump back and forth from here. Okay, so here's the big part, is that we're getting to our adjustments. So I'll explain to you the best way I can, and I'm going to explain, I'm using how we do it. Again, please, if there's, talk to your broker in charge. All right, so you'll see down here, you have these blank boxes up here at the top. Well, first, I'm sorry, let's back up over here. Here's your price of the comparable right here, this column. Here's your adjusted price. So as you make changes in value over here, you should see this number change. If it's not, you're doing something wrong. Okay, so keep that in mind. So these boxes up here are your value boxes. So what we're saying, now you'll see, here's my subject property and the details of my subject property. Here's my comparables. This feature value is not about my property. It's about what value we're giving that item. Okay, so we don't usually adjust for bedrooms because that's a reflection in your square footage. Okay, remember, to each their own. I'm just explaining how we do it. And again, talk to your brokers in charge. I should have like a sign on my neck, on a necklace that says that. But now we're going to move to bathrooms. Let's say that you think a full bathroom is, you know, it's going to vary. It's going to vary by neighborhood. Everybody wants that answer of what's the value of a bathroom. And I will tell you that we have appraisers come in and talk at our company, and there is no set value because it depends on neighborhood. It depends on, you know, standards for that neighborhood. And $80,000 neighborhood might be different than a $500,000 neighborhood. So I'm picking numbers for demonstration purposes only, okay? So let's say that you think your full bath is 3,000. So you're gonna say 3,000. I will insert a little recommendation. What I've learned, and I learned from agents in the past over the years, is that every time you get an appraisal back, you should create a spreadsheet and put a neighborhood down from what that appraisal is and the adjustments that they gave for certain features. Then you kind of start to create a log of your own resources. Yes, there are cheat sheets out there from appraisers. I've got like 4 of them. But again, it's not always the standard. It rotates. So my advice, especially as a newer agent, as you get those appraisals in, start tracking those adjustments so you get a feel for what an average bathroom might go for at this price range and so on and so forth. So that's just my, 2 cents. All right, so I'm gonna delete that. So our value is 3,000. So we're gonna say a bathroom is worth 3,000. When we put it in there, it does the math for us based on what we have. So we said we had 4 full bathrooms. These have 2. So remember, the comparables always have to be made to be like subject. Subject doesn't get adjusted. Remember, I'm sure you all know that, but so comparables become like us. So in order for them to be like a 4 bathroom, we've got to add 2 bathroom values, which are 3,000 each. Now, when we get to half baths, do you see how this box says no data, right? So if I put $20,000 for a half bath, see how there's no math being done? There's no data to compare. All right, so we need to jump back to our subject property, go down to half bath. See, in class, people would be yelling at me, you missed it, you missed it. So half bath, if it's 0, put 0, okay? But if it's 1, you'll put 1, okay? But leaving it blank will populate the no data. So I'm going to jump back to adjustments. So if we say our half, see now how we have a number there? So now our data has been put in there for our subject. So if we say half bathroom is half of the full, not 15,000, it's now going to do the math for us. Okay? So if we want to say it's negative, let's go to our bathrooms just so you can see negative. I'm going to say we have 1 full bath. And I'm, oops, sorry, gonna go to adjustments. It's 3,000. Do you see how it made it negative then? So it took away from these to make it like my subject. The parentheses mean negative. And do you see these numbers changing over here? See how they're different? That means it's adjusting the price to make these comparables most like me. Now, as we go through, some of them don't have values. Carport spaces, we didn't put any data in. Garage, so same thing. Now let's say that you are brick, these are frame, but it didn't give us a value box, but you wanted to make an adjustment, right? So maybe you think brick versus fiber cement is $1,000 more value. So you could just type in 1,000 here to add that value if you think they need to come up in value to make it like your brick. Okay, so you can go in and do adjustments and see they change over here. If you think it's negative, then you do negative 1,000 and it will put the parentheses around it and make it negative. So even though there's not a value box at the top, and I'd love to answer why there's not, and I'm not 100% sure. I've invested a lot of time to figure that out. So maybe next class I'll figure that out by then. But if I want to do adjustments, I can still manually do that and you'll see the values adjust. Right? Age, if you're going to take adjustments, we're going to jump back to square footage real quick. There's your year built. Exterior features. So I already had a column in here, so just ignore that one. But remember how we added the exterior and then we did the pool? So we're going to give our pool, I mean, if we want to say it's a, whatever, y'all, $3,000 value. So mine has a pool and they don't have a pool. So what do I need to do to them? I need to add to theirs. So I'm going to put 3,000 right here, and you're going to see that number change over here. I'm pointing to the computer again, and you can't see that. Over here. Now, I will show you, if you put it in this box over here, now watch these numbers over here. It doesn't change, okay? Again, I don't really know. So over here, you always want to make sure it's in the right box, the far right side, which is the right box. So you'll put 3,000. Now you'll see it adjust. Okay. Now, when I said I'd come back to square footage, however you do it, how we do it is that we jump over here to this pricing tab and we get our average square foot. See average square foot over here. It's right here, and we take half of that, and that's the number we put in there. If you do it differently, however you do it. All right, so we're going to pick a number, and that number is then going to adjust the square footage. So here it's taking away to make like ours. Here it's adding to make like ours. Here it added, make like ours, and here it took away. Okay, so that's how those adjustments take place. Does everybody kind of tracking on everything we've done so far with adjustments, subject, property, all that good stuff?
If anybody's got any questions, just post them up in the chat box.
Okay, so then we're going to go to our pricing tab. When you go to pricing, this is your kind of data page. It's telling you low, median, average, square footage. This was comparable. This was as they were as your comparable property. And this is them as the adjusted comparable property. So as we've made them like ours, here's their new values. Okay. Now down here, you have suggested list price. My recommendation, but talk to your broker, never give a set price. You should always give a range. We are not set. I don't recommend you set the price. You should educate your client, show them the ranges, show them what's active, pending, sold, because sold doesn't always necessarily dictate the way that it's going. Active, pending are showing trends too. So I highly recommend not a set price. And maybe we do a range and we say, 110 to 120, of course, everything grammatical and nice, neat and professional. Notes. This is the section that I might want to explain my suggested price. So if I gave a range of 110 to 120, I might say, note the highest comp at 120, that's 12,000, was a partial flip with new We do not have all those upgrades. Then please note comp at 123 Water Street is most like ours at 115. Okay, so I'm going to go through and give a little bit more information here. This is especially important, I think, when you don't have a seller who's local and you're literally emailing all of this. The more information and data that you can add in those custom pages in the beginning, and then information you can put here, the more informed they are. All right, and then I'm going to hit finish. And then I'm going to hit save. I always save because I always fear for my life that I'm going to lose everything. But I will tell you, once you've started and you hit finish, it does save it automatically if you did not hit save, and you'll see that right here. So you do have some options. You can view the CMA or you can email it directly. Now, for those of you that have never done one, and I told you to add all these pages so you can kind of review and see what it is, I would click View CMA. When you view the CMA, it's quite large because we added every document. What I would do is go through, if you've never done it before, take a little piece of paper and write down the ones that maybe the note on the top of the page is the one you want to remove. So we have multiple subject cover pages. So here's one with the subject property and my photo. Here's another one with, oh, they're out of order, right? Because I rearranged it. Okay, well, there's 3 different versions. So you would obviously pick the one you don't want to. This is the summary of comparable listings. Now you're all going to be like, oh my gosh, there's 30 pages. I know, it's crazy. But this is just so you see everything that's available to you. You do not have to use all 30 pages, and I'll show you again how to go back and change that. So then this is showing the CMA price adjustments. And how do you know it's doing adjustments? Because if you look here, you can see the plus and minuses. So it's taking the value changes and showing, here's where we started, here's our adjusted price. Okay, so these I think are key to have in there. This is also a format you can use to send your appraisers when you get Tidewater and so forth. So unless they send you the graph they want you to use, you can use this document. This is the 4 up. So what's the difference between 3 up and 4 up? If we could take a guess. One has 3 on a page and one has 4 on a page. So if you really do only have 3 comparables, I would use the 4 up so they're all on one page and you can clearly go over them together. If you have more than that, it probably really doesn't matter which one you use, but I don't feel there's really a value in having both of them. So obviously you would go back and delete one of them. It gives you some great, minimum and maximums. There's graphs for the visuals. There's another breakdown of, active, closed, pending, sold. Again, sold properties with more detail. So obviously a lot of information. Here's our pricing recommendation. So here's where I wrote my notes. I'm either going to have this at the beginning and then let them go through it so it doesn't get lost in everything else, or I'm going to have it at the end. I'm not going to stick it in the middle like that. Here's some really great, I will say that this MLS system gives you some great content in regards to, why not to overprice. And if some of us have a hard time explaining that, some of these will help with that. It's telling you activity versus timing. So our first 2 weeks, obviously you can see here, it's telling us that's when you get the most exposure. So why are we going to overprice that listing and then drop it in a few weeks? So this is a good visual for that. You're losing that traction once you've done that. This is our guarantee to be awesome, which everybody should have that guarantee every day of their life to be awesome, especially to their clients and to others and to each other. We're all in the same game. All right, so the effects of overpricing, what happens when we overprice, where do we lose value by overpricing, why you should use a realtor. This is great if you are trying to solicit for sale by owners. I think it's great. You should use it. Market analysis, what is it? What I could provide for you, the importance of pricing. Again, this is why we don't overprice. As we go overprice, we're getting less and less of the market pool. So this is a great slide I always like to reference because we're talking about what a seller wants and what a buyer wants. How can we meet them in the middle? And that's by establishing the best market value for the seller and the buyer. So it's a great visual too. And some of these, if you've never been exposed to anything like this or training with this, these are just great for you to read and you'll learn a lot from that in itself. Why, again, we don't overprice. This goes over commission. I wouldn't really mess with that. However, if you're interested, talk to your broker in charge. Where do we get our buyers from? So, internet, real estate agent, yard signs, we know that. How to make your showings better. These were the 2 different cover sheets. So obviously a lot of data, right? Correct. So you're like, Megan, I want to remove half of that. That's way too much. People are going to fall asleep when I'm talking to them. So you're going to go back to your subject. Oh, no, I'm lying. No, you're going to go back to your pages. And then you're going to click on the ones over here you don't want and simply hit the red X and delete it. So whatever you don't want, you can delete. And you can make it pretty and however you want it. Then you can set it as defaults. So if I go and hit restore defaults, this is what I have in mind most of the time. So you can save your defaults. So every time you log in, this is what's already there for you. You don't have to go through and pick them all every single time. You can save it this way. But if I wanted to add something extra because maybe this client requires it, sure, I can go ahead and add it. So I have my stand, I can, change it. All right, so that's that CMA. So I'm gonna go questions on this one before I go out of it. Anybody? There's 51 of y'all. I know somebody is sitting there going, I wonder what she did, or how'd she do that again, or I don't remember this.
Any questions? Just shoot them to us in the chat box. Either you are a fabulous instructor or they stayed with you that whole time.
Or they left the room and they just got back. I don't know. All right. So I'm going to do another really quick search and then I'm going to show you the cloud CMA really quick. So, and I'm going to go to subdivision, not county. Thanks for that, Casey. And I'm going to go to results. And okay, so if I check off, just kidding, the closed ones. All right, down here you see you have a cloud CMA. I'm going to be 100% honest. I've only been working in this the last couple months, so I am not like the guru go-to, but I will show you how to get there and show you the basics. You should go in and play with it more and learn. So I'm going to click on Cloud CMA. When you're in the Cloud CMA, it has a ton of great content. You can name your report, so you can put your client's name here. I will point out at the top, they do have additional features in here, which are cool that you can get to from the top links tab. You have a buyer tour option, which if I'm planning a date with buyers and I put in the MLS numbers I'm showing, it prints out all the photos. It prints out or pulls up local restaurants, local schools, shopping nearby. It's a lot of cool data, especially if maybe I'm going to send it to my client, email it to my client a couple days before they get here to go look. I can send them all that information. It's pretty cool. Also creates flyers, so you can create flyers from here. So pretty cool. So I'm going to put my property address, which has no relation to what I'm doing, but if it doesn't populate for you, you can change it or add whatever, and you can add a photo, whatever. So down here, remember I've selected 3 MLS numbers. So here they are. Or I can do what they call quick and dirty, which I always laugh. I don't know why, but so you can click that one. So here's what I'll say about that. Yes, it will automatically pull listings, and there's a little bit more criteria for you. But there's not a range, proximity range. So, I mean, it will pull some good comps, but they might be from like 10 miles away. So if you let the machine do it for you, you still have to go in and do your research and ensure you're picking the best comparables, that when an appraiser comes and says, why did you pick 3 houses from 4 neighborhoods over when you've got 3 in your own neighborhood? So, you know, please, if you do that, you know, you can find them by proximity, still closest to your property. They're just not always the most accurate, and I don't know why. And I've done it multiple times. So I don't know if I'm missing a feature, but if you let them do it automatically, you're still pulling all kinds of things. So I would say do it both. Do your manual looking up and checking comps, and then do this version and see what you find. Okay. And then you can do fetch listings.
Megan,
And yes.
Vivian Ortiz sent you a chat. She said, I hadn't been using these features in Matrix. She's been manually creating her CMAs. And I had made a note. There is so much this MLS will do for us if we will just learn to use this system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Vivian learned something? I taught Vivian something?
Yeah, we're doing good. And Michael Fredrickson said adding actives and pendings to the Cloud CMA gives visual comparisons for the seller. And the Cloud CMA is a fabulous tool that we added, what, a year ago or so?
Yeah. It is great. And honestly, I would add active, closed, and pending to the CMA and the regular matrix too. I think anywhere you can add everything that's going on in the neighborhood, you're giving a much better perspective for that seller than just the closed. Because if all the closed said 120, but everybody's listed at 100, I mean, and 3 and pending at 105, you know, we have to kind of look at that. So I would say the Cloud CMA, I would say, is much prettier, if I can say that about a CMA. And it gives more graphics and so forth. But definitely on both of them, I would select active, closed, pending to give accurate data for all 3 categories.
You can say
so, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You can say it's prettier.
It is prettier. I don't know if that's the professional, but so here they give you an opportunity to put in a set price. Again, not a fan of that. You know, y'all do your thing, but you have a pricing guide and net sheet. So you could kind of pick a suggested price range if you wanted to versus a set number. And that's the way I would lean, is picking, you know, a range versus a set number. This goes over your listings here. It shows you the map, and then you can hit customize report. You can also add a listing down there, sorry. And then down here, it goes over all the different pages. I'm, you know, not going to go into each one, but you can do adjustments. It does go over the photos. It's the first dozen on one page. the details. So there are different areas that you can go through here and edit and change. So, I mean, again, spend some time in here. Here's all the content. You can edit your cover pages and so forth. So there's a lot of things you can do in the Cloud CMA. It's a great program. Honestly, what I do is I take pieces from the matrix and I take pieces from here and I customize it my own kind of way with both of them. So you can utilize both, definitely. I really do like the buyer tour in here for your buyers. Especially when they're not here and they're coming here. I can send them the tour. I can send them all the information about the area in an email with photos, super clean, super nice. It's really a cool feature. I'm going to hit publish report after you've gone through and edit all the pages that you've wanted to edit. And then I'm going to click on it as a view PDF. And here's the listing. Now, again, you're going to go in and edit and do some things, but there are some pages I like in here better than the other one. But this, again, what is a CMA? Your contact information. Here it is with the map. Here's a summary of comparables. Again, if you have your active, closed, pending, they're all going to be on here, which I think is great. There's the photos, and then it shows you the first 12 photos, which I really like. Especially if I'm emailing. I think it's really clean and pretty, and it just gives them like, oh, my house doesn't look like that. So it's a little bit easier than saying, well, that house down the street's just like mine. And then they see the photos and are like, maybe not. So I like that. It does give more information. That's why it's really important too for agents out there as listing agents, really good photos. I mean, you represent your seller. It helps appraisers. It helps agents. It helps the sellers. It helps the buyers, especially this time where not as many people are going to houses. So really good photos, and use all 40 photos that you can use. Sold listings.
Megan?
Here's really cool. You know, what is their list to sell price average? What are their average days on market? Here's the statistics. I mean, it's a great, content. Here's suggested price. Obviously, I picked my address versus those, not the same thing. But closing, it kind of talks about, again, commission. I'm just not a fan of that. Why you need a real estate professional. Again, I like this. I think it really shows a lot of information about us. Again, same pretty much graphics as the other one. It's just a little different, the smiley faces and and it kind of just a different visual, but same information. Why we don't overprice, timing. You can see the smiley faces go down the longer you're on the market. So, I mean, it's just good visuals, good clean content. Put a sign in your home, open house checklist right now, obviously that's a little different. That's the Cloud CMA. So it is a great tool, but again, you have to go in and manually do your adjustments. It's not doing that for you. So you need to go do that on that edit page, okay? Because if not, you're giving them false information when you just say, here it is, and you haven't made those adjustments. If we want to just take the last 10 minutes, I can go through these top links real quick. If anybody has questions about anything, please just shoot them to Zan now. So when we wrap it up, we can kind of go through any Q&A. This is our first time doing it online. We didn't know how long it would take. Normally in the classroom, I'm there 3 hours. So hopefully we've hit on everything, but I'm going to go through these top tabs kind of quickly.
Megan,
if you
Megan.
Yeah.
Before we get in there, let me come back to something you said about photographs and appraisers. We got word yesterday that appraisals will continue, but they are from the exterior only.
Right.
Have you talked to any appraisers about that?
Yes. So basically they're saying that they're really going off of verification of photos. Then they're walking the property. One appraiser I talked to said they do try to look through the window to see if, the appliances are there and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be more important than ever to accurately portray your listings.
And one of the things that is running around in the MLS are digitally enhanced photographs. And the problem with that is
it's a false representation.
Yeah, it's a false representation of your property. And I've looked at several houses online and then gone to the house. And I can tell you, because my wife and I are looking for a house, I can tell you that as a buyer, I'm not going back to that type of house again.
It's very disappointing.
I mean, it's hugely disappointing. And now if appraisers, what I'm being told is the appraisers are going to call and interview you, the listing agent, interview the buyer's agent, interview the people involved to verify the data down to details. If we misrepresent that information at any point, we can be seriously in trouble. And virtually staged or digitally enhanced, it's all the same stuff. Yesterday, Debbie McFadden's MLS committee did approve that appraisers can use the photographs that are in Matrix at this time. So just please, if you have digitally enhanced or virtually staged properties, that disclaimer has to be front and center, that what you may be looking at online is not what you'd see when you get
there. I agree, 100%.
All right, so you got about 10 more minutes for us?
Okay, yep, I will try to get through that, and then we can have any Q&A if people have Q&A. All righty, so across the top, we have our home, which we talked about. That's your home page. You can move all these things, change all these things, do all that great stuff. You could do your search. So if you saved, over that save screen, you can save your speed bar search. So it's just, the slash and then whatever you named it, and then hit search and it's going to take you right there. Okay. Then we have our search screen, which we talked about. So we have residential, farm, commercial, multifamily. Remember, cross property is where you can search all of those in one search versus individually. So really great thing to use, rental, sales, all that good stuff. Stats. So I love this page and I'll try to get through it quickly. This is a page that could give you a lot of data for your clients, especially on listing appointments. So you're going to put in your information, right? So if I want a 3 to 4 bedroom or whatever it is, a residential property, great, whatever, I can add more fields just like on the home page. So if I'm looking for things, in a square foot range, I can add that. Or maybe my neighborhood doesn't have a lot of stats, so I want to search by elementary school. I can add that box and put in elementary school data. I can add a high school. So I can add ice cream. I was going to say ice cream. Add a high school that I want to do the data from. So you can do by neighborhood, right? Subdivision. So if I want to do stats for my neighborhood that I'm going to my listing appointment on, or I can add a box and do by high school. Maybe I do both. I want to show them their neighborhood statistics, and then I want to show them by their high school or their elementary school, because maybe their neighborhood says I'm going to sell it in 10 days and you're like, that's scary. So I'll go to the elementary school and show them too that the elementary school is 45 days. So you're showing them a range of information, right? So you have the presets that are already done for you, or you can click right here in this customize tab. You're going to come in this customize tab and you can customize your time frame. So I want the last, say, this year, January till now. So I'm going to do March 2020. What is the statistic I want to use? Do I want to use months of inventory? Do I want to use list price average? Do I want to use days to sell? Because what happens when you go into your listing appointment? How long is it going to take to sell my house? Well, I can use months of inventory to tell them that. I can use them days to sell on average, right? So cool. How do I want to group it together visually? I'm going to prefer by month, but you can do sales price, list price, primary year. So I'm putting all this data. So let me just recap. We're in stats. We're putting in the information that we want. We can do it by subdivision, or we can do it by schools or square foot, blah, 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 zip code. You can do it however you want to do it. And then once you've put in all your information for those reports, you're going to hit generate. Generate is giving me a graph. Cool. I don't work well with graphs, so I'm going to hit data. Data is going to break it down for me by numbers. So days to sell on average, January, February, and March, that's the days to sell on average. Now remember, I didn't specifically look by square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, which I can do if I want to search specifically like my listing. Maybe I want a 3 to 4 bedroom in Jack Britt that's 1,900 square feet to 2,200 square feet. I could put all that data in. I didn't, just to speed this up. I did that. So I can go to print and print that out here. and I can use this tabular data. I think it's nice tabular. And when I do that, it will print the graph and the data. So if they're visual, I'm not sure, or if they want the data. So there's a lot of really cool reports in here that you can choose from. All these different things. So this is a great opportunity for you to come in and do your market updates. You're sending market updates to your sphere, to your social media accounts. Come in here and get some information on the market. Use that as your statistics. So this stats tab is really cool, in my opinion. I think it offers a lot of really great data that you could be using. So there is that tab. The My Matrix. We have our the contact summary about our account, auto emails. So we want to go in and change those auto emails that we've set up the clients automatically getting from us. We click on it, we go into our auto email, and we can change our criteria, we can change our settings. Maybe they were an auto email, and now we want to change it to concierge. We can go into settings and change that. We can change what we set them up for. Save searches we can edit. We can look at our sent emails. So I can see all the emails that have been sent, where they opened, all that good stuff. My CMAs. I want to go back and edit one of my CMAs. There they are. Settings. When I go into settings, here's all the things that you can edit. And I'm going to start with my information. If you notice when I was showing you some of the things, I had that header up there with my photo and the background. So you can go in there and click on header and footer and edit yourself. So you can select a different banner. They have a bunch to choose from. So, I mean, instead of the generic blue everybody's got, you can come in and pick all of these different backgrounds. So you can literally customize it to yourself. Or you can go and do an custom banner. Maybe you have your logo or something. You can upload that there. You can use your custom photo. There's my mugshot. You can upload your photo there as well as update your background. So you're customizing it, because every time they log into their portal, this is what they're going to see. Every time you send them cut sheets, it's what they're going to see. Every time that you print out something, this is what they're going to see. So I would think you'd want it customized to you. So you can change all that. Again, that's what it looks like. Do you want it on the header? Do you want it on the footer? There's all that good stuff. Here's your CMA cover sheet. You know, make sure all that information's correct. Is your email signature the way you want it? There it is. There's your agent webpage, so like their portals or anything you want to change on there. Here's your portal. Do you have your photo on there so that when they're in your portal, they see your face? That's like 5 years old, don't judge. Portal greetings. So what do you want it to say when they log in for the first time, when they get those automatic emails? Video, if you have a YouTube link, add it. If you have a video, add it. Be video friendly. I'm a hypocrite because mine's not in there. Contact information, make sure contact information is correct. And then inventory and slideshow. Do we want to show our active listings and my office's listings on my website? Yes, we do. Or on our portal? Yes, we do. So if they start searching in there. So this is where you would go to customize those headers and footers to make it customized to you. Course Realist. Realist, awesome site. You need to go into it, make sure this is where you can do your tax searches and some informational searches on listings. One thing I will say is when you're up here, if you've never logged into here before, you're going to click on Change County. Make sure you've marked off every county that you work or that you're going to be researching in. Because if you don't, and you search for an address, and I didn't mark Hoke, and I'm searching in Hoke, it's going to tell me no results, no results, no results. You can search by address or name. Under quick search, and it's going to pull the data for that property. You should be doing this for every buyer and seller because it just gives you more information on that property. Under my search, I'm skimming through this, you could go down to neighborhood, select a neighborhood. So guess what I'm picking? One guess. You can select those, right? And I'm going to hit apply. I know I'm going fast. I'm going to hit search. It's going to populate all the addresses for that neighborhood. Why is that beneficial? Because if I want to do labels, mailing labels for bulk mail, I just click labels and there's my mailing labels, okay, for bulk mail, or if you're going to farm a neighborhood. So, you know, obviously we could spend a lot more time in Realist. There's a lot of other different functions. I do not use Realist to do my CMAs, and I don't recommend you do either, but it is a great place for research. Here's some calculators and proceed sheets and all that good stuff. If you have a buyer who has a lender, let your lender do the buyer's closing cost estimate. My only tip. Add, edit. This is where you would add or edit listings. So adding listings, honestly, it's very self-explanatory. We don't have to spend a lot of time on that. When you hit add new, it's going to ask for your agent name. Then it's just going to go through 3 pages of information that you need to populate information about your listing. You need to have the photos, it's going to ask you for the mandatory fields, your schools, legal description, all that stuff. So please all agents fill out as much information as possible, especially the details of the home. It's just helping your client, helping the buyer, helping the other agent. So please, 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 and attach your disclosures. Market reports, I don't really know. Every agent is different on this, so I'm not really going to touch on this. This is really if you're nosy about what other people are producing. So everybody's got that tendency. So I really don't think it's an important page unless I'm just missing something. Links is going to be all the links that you want. So if you just want to go into a cloud CMA and do your buyers, you could come here, go into showing time, y'all. There's awesome reports in showing time. You should be once a week when you're talking to your sellers, there's reports that you can pull about how many showings have taken place in that neighborhood and what price points. That would be good information to tell your client, hey, no one's getting a showing, so don't feel bad. So awesome reports in showing time. You can also change the format of when the surveys people get, you can change that, you can customize that. So go in there and spend some time. And every agent on here, please tell 3 more agents, give feedback. And I sometimes feel like the agents that don't give feedback is because maybe they haven't worked with enough sellers yet that have drove them crazy about why didn't we get feedback. But please, 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 out of respect for each other as a profession and to best represent our clients and show that we're a professional field, that we respect all the clients in the transaction, please give feedback. Please, please, please. I'm like begging. So you can go in and make changes in showing time. There's our longleaf pines. Here's all your GISs, your tax, your register of deeds, all that beautiful sites that you should be on pretty regularly are all right here. Down here is your standard forms. So your coming soon addendum. A lot of people don't know it's here. Working with real estate agents if you need an assessment form. So the links tab is very productive and a lot of resources here. But please go into showing time, look at those reports, make sure your information's correct for your client. Change the format if you don't like it. And please give feedback. You can even check in showing time, where have I not given feedback, and go in and give feedback. You do have a help tab. The help tab, you can put things in, like this is where I put in carts because I wanted to make sure I really understood that. Clicked on carts and boom, there's a video for me. Okay, so use the help. You can use me, reach out to me anytime, but use the help. There tells you about reverse prospecting, all that good stuff. And then there's the mobile. So that was super quick. Usually that's like another hour of going through all those. But right now, are there any questions that we can answer for you as we wrap this up?
Megan, I'm just blown away. Riley goes, I didn't know that that's what it would do. I mean, we're getting people feeding back that it's just incredibly good information.
Yay!
And to answer probably everybody's question, yes, this class has been recorded. We'll have it posted late today on our association website, on our association YouTube channel, and we will email a link out to all the members for that. Somebody questioned about the appraisers only doing the exterior of the properties. Will it change the prices of appraisals? I guarantee you, if you ask all the appraisers in one time, they would say absolutely not. They're going to give true market value, and that's their job. So I am just, I'm blown away. I mean, I think we ought to do it again, and we can get down into some of the nitty gritty. Here's from Lisa, says, how do you add the app to your phone? I assume that would be the MLS app.
I think there was one, honestly, and then I guess some people have used it. I don't personally use it, but I don't think it's user friendly. I think most people go to the site. I'm sure somebody on this group can comment that uses it. But a lot of people go directly to the site and then put in full site. But if somebody's using the app, please share that answer, because I don't.
Yeah, the app is Go MLS. And so if you want to download the app, it's Go MLS app. And then the Longleaf Pine Realtors. Casey's downloading it now.
Of course, Casey.
So
She
go
wants
to
a prize.
Go MLS and download the Longleaf Pine MLS app. Other questions before we get rid of, have you enjoyed Megan? I mean, good stuff. All right. So we've recorded, we will post. We want to find out if anybody's got any questions. Everybody's saying great class. Heck yeah, the best training. Carrie says thank you. Great job, Megan. Got a page full of notes, quality photos, quality feedback. She is awesome. Vivian Ortiz says great class, Megan. Do you
I'm
realize?
glad everybody stayed on for the long ride.
Well, do you realize you had more people online today than you have ever had physically in the room?
Absolutely. That's why I said I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. And they
I'm gonna
stayed
stop,
on. I saw that they stayed on. So that's awesome.
I'm gonna stop your screen share and close the distance learning rocks, because we can all sit here in our pajamas. Not that I have on mine, but this has been a great session. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for joining. Super proud of y'all for investing in your business.
Yes. I would like to add something that you said earlier, and I want to reiterate. In this marketplace, in these times of great change, keep your clients informed with great hard data. Show every realtor I'm talking to showing busy sales. While we were on this, a lady knocked on the association door thinking we were a real estate company. She was trying to pick up a key to see a rental. People are buying, selling, and renting. And keep your clients informed so they understand you have value to them. So, Megan, it's been an honor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. We will do this again. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.